Okay, it's 10 after 1, Friday. New Brunswick Legislature. Windy. Cold. I shouldn't be here. Maybe it's going to start to rain. Who knows? Anyway, this is supposed to be a protest out front. People protesting against climate change. Okay, climate change. It's cold. Don't matter if it's cold or hot. Climate change here in New Brunswick. My concern is clear cutting. Nobody wants to talk about it. The media don't talk about it. Last night they had a panel at St. Thomas, and they were talking about climate change, floods, and everything. There was a person insisting, saying, clear cutting, clear cutting. And he was very insistent. And the panel, I was told, I wasn't there, they were very, very reserved in talking about clear cutting. Why? Were they afraid that Mr. Irving would cut off some grants, if he's giving grants, or what they call them, donations to St. Thomas or UNB? The people with power, the people that has to deal with Mr. Irving, do not talk about clear cutting. Newsflash, there's gonna be more flood next year. And then they'll be just going on and on and on and on till the province is totally wiped out. Look at our dirt roads. Our dirt roads are major superhighways in our forests. It's so bad they have flashing stop sign on the dirt road. I mean, they're in better shape than our secondary road. And then our secondary road are so full of potholes, it's because of the log trucks. Anyway, okay, how many minutes here? This is too long. Go up front. I don't know how many people there. I'll say 100. It's Friday, 1:15. What I'm going to do, people ask me to go there. The media, so-called media, they go there, they put, a clip of 30 seconds. I'm going to keep this camera on for about half an hour. And I'm going to be asking the people there if they talk about fossil fuel or talk about solar panels and everything. I want to talk about clear cutting. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep this camera on for half an hour. I predict there'll be 100 people there. I hope I'm wrong. I hope there's 500. And it's going to be windy, so we have a hard time hearing. But I'm going to ask around about clear cutting if they're afraid to go on camera and say, oh, clear cutting. So I say about 100. Let's see. I might get lucky. The cops might come after me. It's pretty quiet so far. They don't make protesters like they used to. Now the protesters, they stay behind the monitor. Oh, did you read my Facebook?
That they'll carry this wisdom and knowledge from the ancestors, how to live in balance with the earth again. How we live in balance with every living species on earth. About how to protect the water, how to protect our greatest mother, the earth, and how to protect the air. It says these young people will come forth from various nations, from the white nation, the black nation, the yellow nation, and the red nation. And they will save the earth. They will save the water. But we, as the older ones, have to help to guide and direct them. And I want to acknowledge David Koo, leader of the Green Party. What was said last night at the climate change gathering at Stu was that some leaders are followers, and most of these guys are followers. David's a leader. really grateful that I can call you my friend. I want to thank all these beautiful young people. Again, I know I was here the first or second week and I said, wow, it's so lifting knowing the fact that these young people have awakened and are motivated and they're moving forward in saving this planet, not just for humans, but for every living species. I want to thank you very much.
Thank you, Ron. Well, I think, yeah, everything you said is so important. I think especially as most of us here are settlers on this nation, it is so important that we listen to the first people here. And we do take into consideration 7 generations from now that we look to their the ways of life, because you've always had a connection and respect for Mother Nature. So we need to learn from you. So, well, thank you. You also said you spoke to.
Can you blame it on clear cutting?
Inaction.
Sorry, what was that?
Would you blame
I was looking up a quote, a very important quote.
Definitely.
Today, that
Really?
the greatest threat
Somebody
to our
say
planet
yes.
is the belief
Really?
that someone else will say
Really?
this.
Definitely?
We don't
Yes.
have- Yeah. We
So
have
we
to
should
step
really
up.
look
Our
at the clear
politicians
cutting.
have to step up.
I agree completely.
Yeah. So why are we continuing to clear cut?
That's right. Step up or step aside.
Because Irving.
Because
Irving!
I believe it's Irving.
And you're not afraid with this camera. That's good. We need more people like
there is
that.
no Planet B.
And have some
right?
fun.
Would
you blame the clear cutting on the floods?
And as
The
I was
floods on the
telling
clear cutting?
Daniel Nunes, the organizer for today, so first shout out to Daniel.
Do you blame the clear cutting on the floods on the clear cutting?
I don't know enough
looking
about
up
it.
some
I'm not informed
statistics
enough to
last night.
answer.
Not educated enough.
No,
so
I'm not,
maybe
honestly.
you know this, but the life expectancy of most Canadians is about 80 years old. And we actually have the youngest average of members of parliament in Canada in 2019. The average age is about 50 years old. Yeah, it's actually pretty
Would you
young
blame the
compared to
flood on the
most
clear
other
cutting?
politicians in the U.S. or
It's a
Europe.
contributing
It's
factor.
60 to 70
Just
years old.
1%? That's all?
But if
That's
you-
all?
if you
No,
look
I
at
don't know
our
what
leaders,
percentage it
and
is,
so
but
that
it's a
gives them
contributing
about
factor for sure.
30 years or 20 years to deal with the catastrophic effects of climate change, whereas I have 50 years to deal with it. Others have 60 years.
Would you
Others
blame
have
the
70
flooding
years
on the
to
clear
deal
cutting?
with the impact of climate change. So we need action
Would
now.
you blame the flood on the clear cutting?
Would I? Your inaction is stealing
Just
our
1%
future.
or just?
It's the one mediating factor. It's the one thing you can control. It's the one thing that you can control to actually stop it, mediate it. If the forest is healthy, at least you've got that as a...
So how come we're destroying it?
Whose future? Our future. Whose future? Our future.
You'd have to ask Jimbo Irving.
Mr. Irving? Okay.
You'd have to ask Jimbo about that.
So now, like last time, we've got an open
Would you
mic.
blame the flooding on the clear
This
cutting?
microphone is here for especially the young people to come up and voice their
Would you
concerns
blame the flooding on the clear cutting?
and make
Would
their
I?
requests, make their
I don't know
demands
enough
for
about it, but I'm not
politicians to take more
in
action.
favor of clear cutting anyway.
So it is open.
What's the question?
Would you blame the flooding on the clear cutting?
I don't know enough about it, but
It always takes the
can't rule it out.
First,
Some people say no. No. Just asking. Would you blame the flooding on the clear cutting?
Pardon?
Would you blâmerais-tu le flood sur clear cutting? Would you blame the flooding on the clear cutting?
In part. In part.
Just a little bit.
Not all of it. Nope.
Would you blame the flooding on the clear cutting?
Oh yeah, that's part of it, I think. Absolutely.
Just a little bit.
I think that's one part of it, definitely.
1%. That's all.
I'm going to say more than 1%.
How come people don't talk about it?
I don't know. Because clear cutting, because that's one of our resources in New Brunswick. The forestry.
But they're really going overboard lately. Since the Forestry Act, they're
Well, it's funny, that you say that too, because where I live, I've noticed in the 20 years that I've lived there, there's way more wind. So there's nothing much. The wind has picked up as well, down past Gagetown.
Is that why I've been bitching about the wind since mid-October? It's because of the. That's what I said a few months ago.
It could very well be. I don't have statistics, but it's definitely something that I'm thinking could be part of it.
By what statistic did they go by anyway? Irving statistic or scientists? What? Who's science? UNB?
Scientists seem to be at the bottom of the barrel. People don't seem to be listening to the scientists. They go on Google, they go on YouTube,
of course.
And they listen to that. They don't listen to the people that have had years of schooling and training.
Or they listen to pain in the ass bloggers, you know. Mr. Trump. How you doing, you?
Not too bad.
Will you blame the flooding on the clear cutting?
Part of it.
Just 1%, just a little bit.
Dams is another thing.
Dams. We had dams for 100 years.
Yeah, but still we've had flooding before too, but not like this.
2 years in a row.
The other thing that needs to be done, the rivers have to be dredged.
That costs money. We're too busy giving money to
Well, if Irving can make money off the forest, he should have money to clean the water.
But
He won't.
She came with a good point. Is that why it's so windy lately since mid-October because of the clear cutting?
It's very possible, because it's affecting everything. It's affecting everything.
I know, but we don't. I'm surprised. What I said there'd be 100 people here. How many? 200. I was wrong. People don't give a damn.
No.
They're too busy smoking their marijuana and stay on their Facebook.
And taking pills and everything.
Taking pills, but their opinion on Facebook is very important. But nobody knows who the hell they are. I don't read other people's Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm too busy talking about me.
Yeah.
How you doing? Good?
Good, not too bad.
Would you blame the flooding on the clear cutting?
I mean, not 100%, but a good chunk.
What, 2%, 3%? Should we be concerned?
Yes.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
What we do up high trickles down to low elevations. And if you're in a low elevation, you get the water that didn't get trapped by forests.
Yeah. So,
there's higher snowfall, there's quicker snow melt.
How come the media don't talk about that?
Bought and paid for?
Bought and paid? Should we blame the flooding on the clear cutting?
It's pretty complex. I mean, it doesn't help. I mean, it's climate change.
Doesn't just maybe 1%?
It aggravates it. I mean, you're going to get more water now because there's more snow melt.
Yeah.
Winters are more snow.
But nobody talks about it.
No, but then the runoff, of course, you've got less fiber in the soil to hold it back.
Exactly. That's what I've been saying, but I'm not a scientist.
But how to model that? I don't think there's enough data on the trees and that, but there's certainly a lot of data on evaporation from warmer oceans.
That's good. Listen, you natives are smart sometimes. Sometimes. Would you blame the flooding on the clear cutting?
Well, there's a lot of things. Clear cutting, there's
just
dams.
1%. Just 1% of clear cutting. We shouldn't be concerned.
Damn right we should be concerned.
So how come nobody's talking about it?
But they're afraid of the Irvings, because the Irving and Blaine Higgs. Well, Blaine Higgs is a 33-year-old vet of working for the.
You better talk to him. I just talked to him earlier. My God, that man's always sick. Don't shake his hand. You'll catch whatever he has. He's always sick. Coughing. I got to interview him next week with a mask on and gloves on. I said, stop shaking hand. Go ahead. So I'll shut up. Go ahead.
No. Well, clear cutting, there's dams, there's a spraying of glyphosate, there's
all
situations of fossil fuel.
We already hear you before on this camera anyway. It's all right. Clear cutting, flood, connection.
Yes.
Why?
Why? Because there's nothing holding the water back anymore.
Mm-hmm. How come nobody talks about it?
Nobody wants to mess with Irving, I guess.
Is it still Irving? How come people are afraid of this guy?
Because he's got a lot of power and control in this province.
He's got a lot of people working for him.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of people that are working for him, so nobody's going to stand up against the hand that feeds them.
Our dirt roads, where they clear cut, are super highways compared to the secondary road, and they have to use the secondary road, and they destroy them with their log trucks, all potholes. And I mean, I've never seen so much clear cutting in all my, and they even got flashing stop signs, and at the dirt road. I mean, come on, what's going on here?
We see them trucks going in around Tobic all the time, and they're cutting everything now. Some of those logs they have on the trucks look like matchsticks. They don't even let the trees grow anymore.
Again, we treated the natives like shit for years, and the natives want to come here and save this land.
Here's the other issue when it comes to forestry, right? And because I'm an archaeologist.
Are you?
Yes,
Okay.
I am. And so the idea is that, they just plow through whatever they want without any consideration of who was there before them or what territory they're in. So when development happens, such as logging roads, none of that is taken really into consideration, or if it is, it's held within government itself so that we don't know what's going on.
What's your full name?
Ramona Nicholas.
Oh, nice to see you.
Long
Facebook.
time no see.
Yes. Very long. Last night, we're talking about it. The French, the Acadians, at the Lieutenant Governor's office.
Yeah.
The Irving tankers were, the storage tankers were there, and Fort Nashwauk was there before. Did they dig before they put it there?
No.
No, nothing.
No,
You know how much history?
Look at the issue that they had with Officer Square.
Please, don't worry. I haven't talked about that idiot mayor since. I've been doing good there. What are you trying to do? Ruin it? Listen, Officer Square, there's a good point.
So there's a lot of development that's going around, within municipalities, and that doesn't. The idea that an environmental assessment isn't necessary, right? So archaeology is kind of left out of the picture.
Yeah. Or they're paid for by Mr. Irving.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. In the woods? Where? System? No. Are they still there?
Yes, we're
Somebody's
still there.
When?
I'm not there all the time, but there's
When is somebody going to bring me there? I haven't been there this year at all.
I'll let you know.
Let me know.
Yeah.
I did a video. Remember when they had the poison? I did a video, and I was talking about pesky Indians, and then go in and come back, and I go talking like a racist.
Yeah.
I was talking like that, and then they come back. They come back. We sprayed them. I said, some mine. They come back. So I did that. Somebody put a complaint and said that I was a racist. And then I did Oh no, some people, I'm telling you. No. Huh? 18 minutes. I don't know how much longer. How much longer can I ask a question until somebody makes me swallow this?
We'll see. We'll watch and keep an eye on it.
Would you blame flooding on clear cutting?
Do I blame flooding on clear cutting? I think it has something to do with it.
Something? 1%? 2%?
I'd like to read the research. I'm a researcher, so I'd like to read the research, but I definitely believe it has something to do with it. There is some research that I haven't read. I think it's definitely one of the factors that's involved in the last 2 years, and I think we need to look into it more. I think the government should be looking into it more. Yeah.
But they don't. Nobody talks about it.
Well, NB Media Co-op did publish a story about it, and I think we need to. I'm with the NB Media Co-op. Yep. I think we need to be doing more. I'd love it if you know someone, Charles, who could do a story on it. I'd love to hear about it.
All you gotta do is go in the woods, hold a camera, and there's your story.
Yeah.
That's it. There's your story right there. Just go around and look.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the clear cutting's there. I think we need someone to be writing about it. You're right. Absolutely. Do you think it, Charles? Do you think it's related?
Oh yeah. No, it is 100%. There's going to be a big flood next year, There's going to be another big flood. Then they'll say, okay, we'll have to do a study on it. And then by the time they do the study, but the bottom line is, make a long story short, I don't want to bore the listener. I already said this. In Chipman, there's a worker in the Chipman sawmill stopped me and said, Charles, you have to let the public know about the clear cutting. We're workers in the sawmill. The amount of wood that's coming through that sawmill and shipped to the States, they're scared shitless.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what I will think the problem is. The problem is we have a government that's captured by industry, and that is the problem. And so as long as that's the case, and as long as industry is actually setting the agenda and dictating what the policies are, there's very little room for change.
What's your first name again?
Susan O'Donnell.
O'Donnell, nice. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Exactly. Keep up the good work.
Okay.
We need more non-Irving media.
Absolutely.
They're doing good work.
Okay, sure.
Would you blame the flooding on clear cutting?
Yes, partly.
1%, 0.5%?
Well, I'd say 50%.
50?
Yeah.
Well, you're a brave girl. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, a brave soul.
Every time I go, I just see all these places that they've cut the trees down.
You mean I'm not the only one that noticed that?
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Have you noticed that? There's more clear cutting? You noticed that?
Yes.
So how come more people are not bitching about this?
Because they are, their jobs and their economy and is related to the Irvings.
Is that what it is? Mr. Irving? Again. Thank you. Would you blame the flooding on clear cutting?
It's definitely a part of it, I'd say.
1%?
Maybe a bit more.
Come on.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say. There's a lot of different things going on, but you can't, that's part of it. You can't ignore that. It's too, you can see it, you know.
How come people don't talk about it?
Anyway, that's it. I think some people are talking about it, which is good, but definitely not enough. And I think they're scared of, you know, who is doing it, probably.
Are you a redhead?
I think so.
and I'm terrified that people with red hair. They speak their mind. They're very straightforward. So if you say, you don't. I don't want this camera shoved down my throat. But keep up the straightforward attitude.
There you go. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you. Is flooding connected to clear cutting?
Are you filming?
Of course.
I don't really want to.
I don't blame you. No, nobody. Is flooding connected to clear cutting? Is it?
Sir?
Is flooding connected to clear cutting? Do you think flooding is connected because of the clear cutting? We have so much flooding?
Hardly.
1%?
I don't know if I haven't really looked into it, but...
A little bit.
Certainly, I would think a lot more than 1%, but I think it's significant along with it. But I still think the major change is the climate, that the clear cutting is not helping.
How come people don't talk about it?
There's only so much you can talk about at one time, I think.
Thank you. Do you think we have flooding is because of the clear cutting?
I think that plays a role in it.
Just what, 1%? Just little?
Oh, I think it would be a lot more than 1%.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
How come people don't talk about it?
I think people are talking about it.
The media don't talk about it.
Not a great deal, but media don't talk about a lot of things in this province.
That's true. I wonder why. We know why, but we're not going to answer that. But there's a connection between the flooding and the clear cutting, you think?
I would think so, yeah.
2 years in a row, the Forestry Act.
Yes, I think it plays a part.
How come there's not more people here just talking about clear cutting?
I don't know. I don't know why people don't talk about it. People don't talk about a lot of things. They don't talk about climate action a lot either.
Thank you. Our future generation, do you think there's connection between clear cutting and flooding?
I don't know. I think she knows.
There's a connection between flooding and clear cutting?
Probably, but I really don't know. I really have no idea. Do you know?
Well, yes, I do think so. I studied forestry as I'm a master's student in forestry.
Oh, this should be good.
Yeah. Well, no, we know that trees help erosion, and we know that trees keep water in place. So therefore, if you cut down the trees, then the water has to flow somewhere. And I suspect a lot of that is into rivers.
Wow, that's what I've been saying the last 2 years. And oh, shut up. Go ahead.
No, I mean that's the my simple truth of it all, I guess.
So, and I've been bitching, excuse my language, but yeah, cover your ears. I've been bitching about this cold wind since mid-October. Is there a connection, the wind, clear cutting?
Well, probably. I mean, wind gets blocked by trees, and if there's no trees...
So that means there's no trees?
Right. Well, I mean, for a good portion of the time there is no trees, yes. Yeah.
So the bottom line is, how come people are not concerned about the way that we're destroying our forests?
Well, I mean, I think there are people that are concerned. I just don't think the right people are concerned.
The right people? You mean that right people right there, right the Premier's office, right the top floor right there? He should be, I just talked to him. He has a very bad cold. He's always sick. Maybe it's because it's too cold. Yeah. And if there was not much clear cutting, he wouldn't. Don't answer that. I'm just having some fun here. But the bottom line is,
well, we know that we need a biodiverse forest in order to live sustainably. And if we keep cutting down our forests en masse, then it's obviously going to have some negative impacts.
On that.
Yeah, for sure.
Not good. So they must listen to the people.
Yes, they should.
They should.
They should.
But they don't.
But they don't. It's because the power lies in the hands of people that maybe don't care as much. Or
maybe we need that.
That's for sure.
Thank you. Do you think we should? Nothing. Nothing. You think we should be concerned about clear cutting and floods? Is there a connection?
Clear cutting and floods. Oh.
Would flooding be the cause of flooding is because of clear cutting?
Oh, for sure.
Is it?
I gotta believe that's a factor for sure.
1%?
I'm not no expert, but it's pretty easy to know that if you don't have trees soaking water up, you're going to have floods.
I'll find out in 1 minute. Look who's coming here. There we go. You got the mafia behind you?
What's that?
You got the mafia behind you?
Oh, goodness,
your bodyguard?
no.
Okay.
No, wouldn't dare.
Listen.
Yeah?
Is there a connection between flooding and clear cutting?
Well, I think there are a lot of conditions that have caused more catastrophic and severe flooding, and that's why we are investing in studies and in work to make sure we find out the effects of climate change and all the other effects that...
So the clear cutting, only what, 1% should be concerned?
Well, we'll rely on the science, but we're investing
what
in
science?
the science to make sure that we know exactly what the effects are and how we can mitigate and make our communities more resilient to the effects of climate change while we invest in all kinds of initiatives that are going to help reduce the effects of climate change.
I've been bitching about this cold wind since mid-October. Could that be because of the clear cutting? The wind? A lot of people blame the wind because of the clear cutting because of the heavy winds.
Rely on the science to tell us exactly.
What scientists are we talking about anyway?
There's good work being done, even at the University of New Brunswick, funded by the Government of Canada, to assess the impacts of different practices.
So how long do we got to wait before everything is destroyed?
Well, actually, the federal government is ready to move now to invest in climate-resilient infrastructure, to invest in adaptation and flood remediation.
The federal government did their job with the funded trail. That's federal government, right?
We invested significundly in that. Yeah. We're ready
so
to
all the forest is there, but it's clear cut right till the line of the funded part, and the rest is all clear cut, but it stops there. So the forest, the federal government is doing a little bit of.
Excuse me, do you mind if I talk to Mr. Gorsuch for a second? I'm actually organizing the event here.
Yeah.
I'm Daniel. Yeah, it's nice to meet you.
Sorry about that. No, sorry about that. I didn't know.
Give me a second. I'll finish.
Yeah, we'll finish. No. I'm just. No. Go ahead. No. Yeah. So anyway, we'll talk.
Okay. Good.
No, go.
I'll be around on Saturday, Charles.
Yeah. We'll get that. We'll talk.
Awesome. Yeah, really nice to meet you.
I didn't want to discriminate because I got everybody around.
Right.
to leave you guys out, sorry.
Startled me.
Is there a connection, clear cutting and flooding?
With what, clear cutting and flooding? I would imagine so, yeah.
Think we should be concerned of the clear cutting?
Yeah, absolutely.
What, 1%?
100%, 100%, yeah.
How come we don't do anything?
Probably because of money, I'm assuming.
Money. So once it's windy, it's been windy since mid-October.
Yep.
Some people blame it on the clear cutting. The wind, there's no way to stop the wind.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's true.
Could be.
So when are we going to stop it? What are we going to do?
Let's get some government interventions perhaps, but until that point they're just going to keep on doing what they're doing.
Should we be concerned of, is there a connection between clear cutting and the flooding?
I think there is. Are you recording this?
Yes.
Okay, I prefer that you don't, if you don't mind.
I don't blame you.
That's what this represents. Today there are
Is there a connection between clear cutting and the flooding?
I think so, but
yeah.
I'm trying to
thousands of people marching through the streets of Berlin. Thousands of people marching through the streets in London. All youth. Incredible. All around us.
Is there a connection between clear cutting and the flooding? Is there a connection between clear cutting and flooding?
So important. The other night, 2 nights ago,
I don't know enough about anything really to comment.
The first disease of climate change that has come to New Brunswick, affecting a lot of people. And I was so overwhelmed by the fact that Dr. Duncan Webster, who's an infectious disease doctor from St. John, I invited him to speak. I had no idea that he was going to do it this way. And what did he talk about? Climate change. And we've got to talk about climate change because look at the disease it's bringing to our province. Lyme disease. Incredible. So people are starting to awake all over the place around this reality and looking to what we should do.
Why? How come there's not more people here?
To support our premier, who's been off in Toronto meeting with Doug Ford, our environment minister,
last night,
and their environment minister to figure out ways of working together to procrastinate further on climate action.
I don't know.
The premier
I think it was because it was such a beautiful night.
The other premiers
we had such a miserable
from Ontario and Alberta and Manitoba, Saskatchewan, who are climate positive.
And I hear they wouldn't tackle the issue of clear cutting. They wouldn't talk about it.
They talked about it as a contributing factor, and that's all, you know. Yeah. Nobody from DNR was there, right? I like your shirt.
I like my shirt. Anyway, 33 minutes.
Anyway, crossing it.